for me a pleasure to introduce Fer Cozzi. Fer Cozzi is a designer, type designer from Buenos Aires, Argentina. This is her first time in Europe, Paris, ATypI, first lecture in English. So she's a bit nervous, but she's going to be great. So this is, thank you. Thank you very much. Gracias. Eso es lo que necesita Fer. This is what Fer needs. So she's going to talk about, not about feminine type, but feminist typography. So we are going to talk about gender again. So please welcome Fer. Thank you. Gracias.
I don't know if this is helping me. I'm going to start by saying that I will be lying if I tell you that I'm not nervous, that me being here talking about the things that I want to talk is like really crazy, and I'm concerned about what you might think of me, of what I think after I say what I want to say. But I will lie if I say that I'm not worried about the image of me that I'm going to live in ATypI or in Paris. It was this. But I will be lying if I say that that concern it's going to stop for what I want to say. So here I am, and the things is crazy and funny because I'm super nervous. I don't know how it's going to end up. I think some of you might get angry at me, and that's okay. Because the things that I want to talk about, I think is important to us, to all of us, have an opinion on it. So I'm going to begin for introducing myself. I'm Fer. I'm a type designer. I love wine, cheese, and Britney Spears. But yeah, I'm a feminist. And I know that I'm saying I'm a feminist can have like negative associations with that. But I want to clarify, I'm a feminist. I don't hate men. I don't hate women that are not feminist. I'm just feminist. And I'm a bad one. I really love reggaeton, I really love hip-hop, and at least once a month, I complain about being an independent woman, and I want to be like a 50s wife, that I don't have to do anything. And in another way, I'm a killjoy feminist. I don't know how many of you know the term. Being a killjoy is like the person that is telling you that you are doing the wrong things, and it's always up for a fight. As Sarah Hamed said, feminists do killjoy by telling anyone that the world is not perfect, and I'm here to tell this about type industry. But for a start, I want to say, I don't know how many of you have an idea of what feminism is. So for clarify, I have this. I love this interpretation of what feminism is. I don't know if you know this guy, but it's a white guy saying that witchcraft is feminism, so I'm up for that. And it's a great Tinder bio, I guess. But feminism is not about witchcraft. This is me, and I'm a feminist, and I love these things. So feminism, it's a complex idea because I think that it's as much feminism as persons that want to be feminist. Everyone can have their own version of it. But the general idea is that we want a better world. For those who might ask, my feminism is intersectional and queer. And for those who are uncomfortable with the term feminism, we can talk about gender perspective, and it's more polite, maybe. Gender can be not only the way that we see the world, but the way we build the world we are living in. We see what we know every time, our brain is trying to understand the world around us by trying to put things in boxes. And it's not something bad, but it's good to know that we are doing that and start from there. Gender bias is a problem because we are trying to figure out how the people and the world is, but narrowed it down, and we cannot be innocent about it. And I know that I'm not talking about new things. I think most of you have lived the last gate in 2015, I think I was. There are other people in type industry talking about this, but I think we need to keep talking because it keeps happening. So I'm going to try to be polite, and we are going to talk about gender perspective. And I'm confident enough that in a few years we are going to stop label things as feminist, because we are going to start addressing the problems as calling the things sexist. Letters are living things. We hear this, and I think I agree with this, but letters are not humans. So I'm going to try, this is my head, and I'm going to try with this to express my opinions about it. Yeah, I hate everything. So I'm sorry if the examples that I show touch you in any particular way. It's not my idea to point fingers or tell this is wrong and this is right. It's just about bring the subject here and that we can think about it. And the thing is that letters are not human and letters have no gender. I'm worried about why we keep doing this, and I decided to divide this in 3 things. The first one is about the shapes of the letters, maybe. But when we are about to start a project, we don't have any idea about the shape of the letter being feminine or nothing like that. So it's not like that. And if I go and try to find some clues in type classification or history, I didn't find anything that talks about the shapes of the letters or the serif in that way. So I can't blame history. So we are going to find a lot of this in my presentation. I'm sorry. So the idea is like, what are we thinking when we describe a project as feminine? And if we can disable the things that are common on why we do that, we can address that there's more to say about a project than feminine. So if it's not about the shapes, maybe it's about the words that we use to describe a project. And this is really my concern about AI. I know that everyone is worried about losing their jobs. I'm worried that if I ask, what is a feminine typeface, it can answer me with things that live in the real world. And with that is when we say something, when we call something in a specific way, we are defining not just the thing that I was saying, but the rest of the things that are related to them. So if you ask me before you put the name of your font or maybe the words that describe, ask yourself, why are you doing that? I'm worried that we keep saying cute, elegant, pretty. There's a small use of sexy and something like that now, but we still address like elegant and cute and name the fonts like women. So the thing that I'm trying to say is like why we do that and if it makes sense to do that relation. And this is the part that I'm already tired and even begin. It's about the images on how we put the work that we do in the world. This is just 10 minutes in sites that sells type design. typography, and it's not even 1% of what I find. I don't know what is your opinion, but it's too much skin for selling fonts. And I don't know what the relations is. I know nothing says multilingual like the female body, but I think we can do better. Thank you. And I know that I said before that we are not using sexy anymore, but this is the things that happens. I'm not pointing fingers to this foundry, but I was happy because the promotionist this font said this, and it wasn't any woman in the images of my fonts, but 3 minutes later, they did this post. And it's from 2 years ago or 3 years ago, it's not that old. So I'm worried that we keep repeating patterns and we keep doing the things that we know is wrong. And in the other side, it's really hard to find fonts that sell with men. And I can group this in 3 things. Men being men, not doing anything in the first. Sorry. I said I don't hate men, remember that. The second one's men doing sports because they are sporty. And the other one is, I don't know what they are doing. But they are there, looking for someone. I don't know what they are doing. But we don't see the same relation, because if I feel like this is the thing, if I think that my font is going to sell better if I put skin in some part of the photos that I used to promote, why is not the female, what only is the female body on it? And I know that if you read it, I'm not going to go around the internet and tell anything, but I'm judging you. And the thing is that many people, when I ask why, they talk about repeating patterns from the industry that they are trying to address, fashion or wedding invitations. And that's a problem, because that's my second problem. Only heterosexual couples marry. White heterosexual couples are the true love. And it keeps repeating. It's something that we know that we are not accepting in another industry, but we bring it to type design and font promotions. So if you are asking me, how do you manage to do images that are not having female body or heterosexual love, I think you can do whatever you want, but you have to try harder to address the things that are important. Try to find a way to tell the story with your fonts. So maybe it's in how we define which box our font belongs, and that's a problem. And I know many of you are not surprised about it. Not just that we keep using feminine and masculine as tags. Masculine are really low percent of tagging, because I don't think anyone is thinking about tagging like a manly fonts. I don't think anyone is doing that, but they are girly fonts, they are feminine fonts, they are versions of that. And that worries me most is the related tag. I'm not going to say to you, but I hope that you can imagine which tag and which related tags are. For feminine, it's like classy and cute, and for masculine, it's ABC. Makes perfect sense. So I don't get why we still use these as tags, because this I can't blame anyone but the type designer who tagged their own font. Because if I go to the real world, I don't see that segregation on how to use fonts. If I search for feminine in font in use, I don't see only script girly fonts using to products or graphic design that is feminine. So I'm not against the word, I'm against how it's used. So I know this is a little bit hard, long to read, but the thing is, if we are going to use tags as ways to define and classify and put in boxes what we do, I invite you to use any strategy that you want, but try to think how the feminine girly, Okay, this is censorship. No, we are not back. I forgot what I was saying. These things is the same things that we are giving to technology to learn how to build the world. So I'm worried about how innocent we are when we use some words over another. So, okay. So I know that I put songs and not really quotes, but if you don't want to be confined when you use some words, I think we need to think outside the box. We can tag our fonts how you want, but try to figure out a strategy that is not sexist. And I need to talk about this because I'm too worried about March 8th, especially in the past 2 or 3 years. I try to not point out fingers to no one, so I decided to build this graphic that has no math or a statistic behind, but you know it's true. Women on March 8th are worried about doing things. I go to the march with my friends. I'm happy and angry at the same level, and I'm trying to do my best to speak up and move and shout for the ones that can do. And this is what happened in social media. You wake up in the morning and almost every male is listing that he knows a female type designer, he worked with a female type designer, he studied with one, or anything. And it's not that I don't want you to do that, but for me, it's like, you have to do it in that day, because that day is not something to be proud or happy about. It's a fight day. It's a day we use to speak up, to give us the space to do whatever we want. And we can be shouting, we can be marching, or we can be happy and dancing, but it's the one day that shouldn't be about the male part of the industry. So I know that it's like, don't do this, don't do that, and I told you that I'm not going to do that, but I'm telling you how the things must be done, I know. But for me, the thing that we need to know is that I'm not going to stop you from using feminine as a tag or put a female name to your font, but don't be innocent about how the things are behind that decision. Because gender perspective is not just about women, and it's important because I personally want to build a world that I love to live in, and I want my world to be queer, inclusive, open, and non-binary. So if I'm standing here talking to you, it's because I'm hoping that maybe one of you feel the same and try to start a conversation with your peers or in your daily practice. If we can say something, we can think about it, we can question it, and we can solve it. And I know that it's not about just being feminist. And typography itself is not sexist. It's what we do around that. Again, I'm not trying to point fingers and tell these people is doing it in the wrong way and this is the right way to do it. It's about to know that everything that we are doing is imprinted in the world and has the bias that it's inside us. So we are building the world that reflects ourselves, our past, and what our ideas are. And I know maybe some of you are tired of hearing about another feminist complaining about how the things are wrong. But feminism needs to be everywhere because it still isn't everywhere. And for me, being a feminist is about trying to find the words, and not only the English words. My mind is now it's going to explode. I'm thinking in Spanish and trying to translate in the middle. It's about trying to find the words that describe the problem. Being a feminist for me is trying to challenge the universal, the idea of the one answer to all. Being a feminist for me is try to stay worried and uncomfortable in my world. And being a feminist, I assure you, can feel like living in a different world, even with the people around you. And I'm not angry because I'm a feminist. I'm angry because I'm a woman. And I still can't believe that we have to have this conversation. Or maybe in typographic words, which world we want to live, to build, and to share. So for all of you, I invite you, when you see gender bias or a context that drives to it, say something. You don't have to judge anyone, but talk about it, question it, or change it. And for the men in the audience, please help us. Feminism or building the world is not about women doing the job. We need men. We need men questioning men. We need men questioning women. We don't need the movement. It hasn't be all about women. It has to be about the representation. And if you don't want to, you don't have to read feminist books or know the words or trying to find out if everything is okay when you are doing anything. But I invite you to be uncomfortable in your own skin and in the world that is around you, and be angry and be like willing to not make friends, like I am not doing friends today. So yeah, type design is cool, but have you tried to be a feminist? Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias. Lo has hecho. Be proud. We are all feminists. We all should be feminists. This is the question. So is there any question for Fer? Okay. What? Okay, super. That is a question.
If someone wants to start a fight, I'm up for that.
Don't worry. Fer, thank you for very inspiring, very good and very important speech. I want to share maybe my experience, and maybe you can answer me or comment, because I'm organizing twice international conference, and I'm inviting women, and I got a lot of regret because they say, "Oh, we don't want to speak to public. It's complicated for us to come to leave our children to our home," something like that. And it was a lot regrets, a lot cancellations. And now I'm doing movie, and I got the same problem. I ask men to give me interview, and they tell, no problem, let's do it today, for example. I ask women, they say, we need to think about it, or first they answer, no, we don't want to work on camera and something like that. So what to do with it? Maybe it was secret word, secret password to invite them.
I don't have the answer for all the women, but I have a clear idea. I think that many women here are going to find that, or at least it happens to me. I'm always not sure that I'm the right person to do like this lecture. I think every woman is less confident, and if you speak a man, he maybe doesn't know what he's talking about, but he's going to talk about anyway. And if you get many no's, maybe you can ask more. We are a lot. We are half of the population, so you can find more women. And if not, maybe, I'm not sure, I don't know the specific case, but in some places I don't want to be, because I don't want to validate. It's not your case, I'm not trying to say that, but in some point, I'm not going to show up to a place just to fill the quota, because I'm not going to validate those men. But I'm sure that's not your case, but I'm talking in general, that we have to decide at least me, I have to decide where I want to be, because I know that works in two ways, like a pink wash, and I'm saying that man is okay. And I can go. I don't know where is your conference, but I'm ready. I have my passport right here.
Hi, thank you so much for this amazing presentation. And I know how difficult it is to discuss politics in a design context. I actually want to answer him and the rest of you. So we cannot have gender equity without discussing the cost of childcare, because women handle all of that. And this is why you have a lot of young female type designers who are able to work as junior type designers, and you don't have a lot of women who are able to lead foundries because they have responsibilities at home. And so as foundries, this would be one of the norms I would like to fight for, that at least we get equal pay, at least, and conferences. If you are charging for entry, you should be helping to cover expenses. This is not for you, I don't know what the case is, but in general for the industry. And if it's a woman and she's unable and she says, I have children, then maybe contribute towards having someone come and babysit or something, because otherwise it's just talk and pinkwashing. So that's something we can do, I think, as an industry, but we cannot fix that until we have the conversation. And otherwise, it's just going to be men in leading positions and the women are in the junior positions, and then they go on maternity leave, they come back, they don't know if they have a job. So we have to be real, that's the real world. So we want to be equal. And also, can I just say, sorry, I'm going to annoy a lot of people in you, but like, you know me by now, no? I don't give a fuck. So there are either two things. You can either be a feminist or you can be a sexist pig. There is no other option, yeah? So you either believe that the genders are equal, they are different but equal, and if not, look in the mirror and ask, what are you? Yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna piss off everyone. So.
Can I say, is this on? Can I say one thing? Yesterday there was a panel of power in type, and I heard there were people floating around saying, is this a girly thing, or is this like about female designers? And it was about power in type. But the day before we had the all-male panel, and nobody was asking, is this about a male thing? Is it about male in type? So I think we have to really think how we say these things and how we think about it.
Can I say one more thing and I leave? I'm leaving.
No, go ahead.
The one thing that is worrying me last couple of days is the amount of spaces, new spaces that I'm all open for it, but they are built with men leads and invite female. But we are not invited to take decisions. We are invited to make part of the thing when the thing is already done. So if you are trying to do a new space, a new foundry, a new collaborative anything, try to think if at the beginning we can have representation, because the ideas, the way we see the world is really different. And I'm tired. I'm accepting go to your conference, and wherever you want, I go. But I'm tired to be like invited when the things are already done. And for me, it's something like we can change. We can start spaces that are really from the beginning, like diverse and open to the whole people in the industry.
Thank you. That was amazing. Okay, after this amazing talk, thank you, Fer. We have a coffee break now. Everybody get outside and get some oxygen. Come back here. Thank you so much.
With me, Dan Radigan.